In the summer of 2020, like many of us, I went online. I'd already been there, but this felt different because everyone else was showing up. And I saw a new world. And I thought about Nestle back in the 1930s. They created Rocky Road ice cream. And during the Depression, that was a pretty good idea, that brand. And it took off because, for obvious reasons, it connected with where people were in the society at that time. Think about it and how counterintuitive that was. And it took courage. It took courage to do that. The danger of beliefs, the belief of the world's falling apart in the 1930s. It's the Great Depression. Everyone is suffering. What would you do if you were a company? Be afraid, lower costs? Definitely not look at opportunities. Rocky Road ice cream gave people a break from the lives they were living. So did Hollywood. And the feeling of freedom, liberation, happiness, satisfaction people got from taking some time in the midst of their suffering as a business opportunity for an entrepreneur that's not afraid. And in 2020, I looked at the marketplace and I thought, there's something here for me, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. And when I discovered, after a lifetime, starting when I was 17 years old, and then definitely at 21, of realizing that I want a certain kind of life. I don't want a boss. I want tons of money so I don't have to think about money. Not because I care about money. I just didn't want to have to think about it. I was driving an old beat up Toyota Tercel with a massive dent in the back, which is a perfect car for Chicago because I was parking on the streets and circling and circling and circling. And I'm like, somebody's going to dent this car anyways, which they did. That's why it had the first dent in it. I thought, well, I don't want a nicer car. I'm fine, but it would be nice to be able to buy a nicer car. And a lot of the professions I wanted to go into, you never get to buy a nice car because they don't pay. But they fit me, I thought, but they didn't. This is the danger of beliefs. The danger of beliefs. How marketing, information, and opinion pose a threat, not only to me, but to the society in general. And this is what I saw when I was younger. I just didn't understand it until now. The beginning of that understanding came in 2020 when I saw something interesting online. After doing lead generation, sales, massive amounts of networking, crashing private parties to get business, entering new markets, going through the trends and changes in product marketing, branding, AI in the marketing industry, software for marketing, content for marketing, outbound lead generation for marketing, revenue generation for B2B sales. After swirling through all these industries over a lifetime, I arrive in 2020 in the summer with this idea of Nestle and Rocky Road ice cream. What is my Rocky Road ice cream was the question. And I found what I thought was the answer. And I have the books back here. When I discovered Russell Brunson, I didn't know who any of this, I didn't know what it was. I'd never heard of anything like a funnel or influence. Okay, so I didn't understand persuasion marketing. I'd never heard of Robert Cialdini. I didn't know what the authority principle was. I didn't know what social proof was. I didn't know what consistency was to get people to open their wallet. I didn't know anything about it. And I thought, okay, what else is going on? Influencer economy. The influencer economy. And I'm seeing people on LinkedIn doing this. And I thought, oh my God, I love these business models. I've been doing service businesses my entire life. And I had a B2B service business, and it was exhausting me. The danger of beliefs, how marketing information and opinion pose a threat, not only to me, but to the world economy. This is what we're seeing right now. From my perspective, you see the world differently. That's the point. I'm just talking about my perspective, what I noticed, and then my own experience, which is always true because it's my experience. My observations are one thing. My experience is another. That's anchoring. What did I see? I saw social media on LinkedIn, and I thought I went in. I saw Justin Welsh. I saw Leah Turner. I saw Daniel Priestley. And I saw the Masters, Alex Hormozi later, Russell Brunson, Tony Robbins, who's a hell of a marketer and a motivational speaker from the stage. And I thought, there's an intellectual product business. I never heard of this. Where does this come from? And I learned about Eugene Schwartz. And I spent $100 on Beyond Advertising. I found Todd Brown. I found Brand Builders later. And I found Evan Carmichael on YouTube later. And Alaric Heck on YouTube. And I thought, I want in. Please let me in. I love these business models. I love this idea. I love this lifestyle opportunity for me. What is my Rocky Road ice cream? I was in a CEO group in 2020. I've been in it for about 3.5 years. And it was filled with people who owned construction companies, law firms, architectural design firms, an IT company, a internet marketing expert, a branding agency owner. And the size of these companies was 1 to maybe 40, 50 million in revenue. You had to get in, like they had a trusted advisor group and then the CEO group, and I was in the CEO group. And we're meeting every week, or we had a big meeting once a month that went on all day. And then we met alternatively, and we got a coaching session with the guy who ran it. It was great. And I remember in 2020 thinking about Rocky Road ice cream. What's my Rocky Road ice cream? And I brought this idea to the group. And I'm like, look at these business models. And the answer was, how are you going to be like Tony Robbins? You don't have that. And I thought, I don't need it, but I don't know what I have. But I know I got something. I know I've got something, and I know what I got is not what I want, but it's fine. As we got into the fall, I jumped. I call this leap, don't run. Leap, don't run. The entrepreneur leap, don't run lifestyle. What is my Rocky Road ice cream? And I leaped. And I started things. Sales Sherpa. I created a LinkedIn posting bod because I did Shay Robottom's video boot camp, and I learned a lot about LinkedIn from her and her coach and the group. These were really, really, really compelling people that had personalities that could show up on video and in social media build a following. And I thought, I got to be able to do this. So by the fall, my LinkedIn exploded because I had 235 people sign up for my posting group. And we ran it on a spreadsheet. And then I ran it in Circle. And I created a community in Circle. And I'm like, what is this? And I kept going because I knew there was something there. And I'm trying to figure out the playbook. James Carberry, content-based networking. I saw Colin Cadmus build a brand on LinkedIn. I was like, how did he do this? I want this. Jackie Hermes with her B2B agency. And I talked to her too. I tried to do a partnership. She probably doesn't even remember. And she was kind of like, I don't do lead gen. That was my outbound sales company. I'm like, what's next? How do I integrate this? How do I do this? What's the brand? What's my Rocky Road ice cream? I got to find it. I went on Clubhouse with Bobby Umar and Chris Colt and got involved in rooms, hosted rooms, was on panels. How do you create a sales pipeline, community as a sales pipeline? How do I create a signature event that leads to oversubscribing, Daniel Priestley, my offers, Alex Hormozy? How do I do it? 150 grand later. Sam Ovens course, $2,000. How do you do it? He's some young guy from New Zealand. He's making a ton of money. How do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it? What is my Rocky Road ice cream? Got left behind. How does marketing information and opinion pose a threat to entrepreneurs? How? Here's how. As I got deeper into this new world, it took until 2023, February, March of 2023, to realize something. I already knew the answer. I'd already done it. But I'm old. So I thought, I didn't do it on social media as an influencer, whatever that means. And I didn't have the business model. Chris Williams, Group Coach Nation. How do you do it? I got to do that. I got to be able to do it because that's the future. I'm running the playbooks. How do I do it? What's my Rocky Road ice cream? I forgot about that part. Well, I found it, at least got back to it in March of 2023. And I thought, what is my Rocky Road ice cream? And in the software industry, they do something called betas, beta groups. I used to sell software, marketing AI software in the late 2000s. They do betas, and then you do pilots, and then you launch. Jeff Walker, product launch formula. And I thought, I got to learn Jeff Walker's product launch formula. It's like how Hollywood rolls out a movie. Justin Welsh, I met with him. He taught me this too. Get known. Don't sell yet. Then sell. Gary Vee taught me that too. Give, 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 give. Ask. I ran all the playbooks. Ran an event. Revenue Climber Forum, Solopreneur Inc. Forum for years, for free. 20 to 70 people a week showing up to network. Guest speakers, hundreds. So now I am created the stage. Now I have the pipeline. They're there. They'll buy. I learned that from Russell Brunson. What do? Make the offer. Make the offer, make the offer. I get in early 2023 and my wife looks at me and she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. She said, you already have a company. Why are you doing this? I don't know. I have to. And she said, go back to your company. It's be better. You're bleeding money. You spent 150 grand. You lost a couple $100,000 in income. You're bleeding money. We got a house. It's falling apart. It's a great house built in 1940. We just put a couple $100,000 into this house. I live in the United States. It's expensive. $2,000 a month for healthcare. Plus. It never ends. Just wrote another check, $88,000 for plumbing. That's why I need wealth. If I accumulate wealth and fill up the bank, then I'm good. I learned that from Alex Hormozi. Why didn't it work? Why didn't it work for me? Because it's not my destiny. That's why. Because it's not what I want. I don't want to chase money. I don't want to build wealth. I want prosperity. I want a flow of prosperity in my life. How do you get to prosperity? I started with, in the beta, everything we were taught is wrong. Nobody signed up. All those people that I'd cultivated and given to, all those years since 2020 with Sales Sherpa, Revenue Climber, and Solopreneur Inc. Nobody paid me. They paid in the beginning of 2023 for the Solopreneur Inc. virtual campus. But then the big thing, Red Pill Pathway, this was before the Entrepreneur Experience brought to you by Red Pill Pathway came to me and figured that out. September 20th of 2023, I opened the pilot after a very confusing beta where I gave some people some money back because they're like, wow, that was like a fire hose, man. I'm like, I know, I can't figure it out. Some people got a benefit though. But I'm like, what is this? What is my Rocky Road ice cream? I'm running experiments. That's what it is. That's what a beta is. That's what a pilot is. That's what software companies do. Let's make sure the software works. I was selling ad tech software. You don't know if it works on Google unless you have a big AdWords account to test it on. So the company I work for got access to some pretty big AdWords accounts from people who said, sure, turn it on and see what happens. That's hard to get. And because of that, I was able to close business for them because we proved it. Didn't always work. Spend it on the client. How do you bring something into the marketplace? How do you bring something into the marketplace? That's what I did. What's my Rocky Road ice cream? I realized the marketing playbook was not going to work for me. I don't want to be Kim Kardashian. I don't want to be Paris Hilton. I don't want to be Donald Trump. And I thought, that's the end. That's the end. That's the pinnacle. The pinnacle of the social media influencer economy, the celebrity economy. This is what I was trying to do. It's Kim Kardashian. She made more money than anybody for being her. And I thought, what's the product? Fame. I don't want that. I learned that in Shay Rowbottom's group in the summer of 2020, and I didn't know it. What's the product? What's the product? I didn't start with product. I started with how do I get famous? But I didn't want to be famous. I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be Paris Hilton. I don't want to be Donald Trump. It's got nothing to do with the politics. I don't want to be Tucker Carlson in an opinion economy. Opinions and beliefs took over our economy on social media. The danger to the social order, from my perspective as an entrepreneur and the society's well-being and future, is not more technology such as AI thinking for humans to speed this up so I can be more popular. Like a middle school kid. I have a middle school kid. She's finding herself, finding her product, a dancer. Who am I? Not being popular. That's not a good road to go down in this society. To get lost in popularity contests on TikTok or Instagram when you're a 13-year-old girl is not good. I'm doing the same on LinkedIn in 2020. And I'm like, what am I doing? How did I believe all this stuff? I don't know. I already know how to do it. Been doing it my whole life. Why did I think this was different? These systems change how we operate as a society. Google is an ad network. I was part of it. Was in the bleacher seats, the cheap seats, selling this crap into corporations and media companies. And I tried all of it. HubSpot, content marketing. It was called high value content back then. Now it's called content spam. And there's no more of it because of the AI. More spam. And I had a company, I'm not going to go there, still do it, but I'm not involved in it for 4 years. Outbound sales. But it's good because it's important and it fills a niche, but it's not the one I want to be in because it's running those playbooks. And we use AI, not to write content. That's insane, I think. For other people, it's perfect. They love it. It works for them. I don't want to do it. That's all. If it's working for you, do it. However, there's an impact. An economy based on opinion, belief, and conviction dominates the political, business, and entrepreneur world right now. Those great at marketing, spin, and information confuse millions. Millions. Where's the product? I did a school community in December, January 2022, 2023. I did it. It's hot now in the entrepreneur world. What is it? I found for me, it wasn't the answer. Why? Because it's about a problem. I don't have enough clients. I need money. It's about the Great Depression, fear. I don't have, I need to get. They know. Russell knows, Tony knows, Alex knows, Sam Ovens knows. I need to be in that place so I can get to like them. I'm like, why am I doing this? It was fun, and then it wasn't. Those great at marketing, spin, and information confuse millions. Are they bad people? Of course not. Anybody who can do what Russell did, Alex did, Tony did, to me is worthy of admiration. How'd they get there? They found the Rocky Road ice cream. They didn't take a course from themselves to get there. Never step in the same stream twice. I hear these quotes and I'm like, what does that mean? The journey for 1,000 miles starts with one step. Be the change you want to see in the world. That's expressive Gandhi back there. What does that mean? That's what I had to discover for myself, not from learning how to oversubscribe my offer. Didn't work for me. If it's working for you, be great at it. Hire brand builders if you can afford it. I'm not going to. Hire a Lyric Hack. Learn how to spend media. Dan Kennedy, Russell Brunson, whoever spends the most on media wins. How do you spend the most on media? Get the customer to pay you for it. That's called the break-even funnel. It's brilliant. I don't want to do it. I tried. It's not for me. For me, it's about starting with product. What is a shared desire? How do you get a community to care? Shared desire. Why would I gamify my community? That's crazy. Why? Why are they there? Why are they there? Because they want to be there. They want to come together around a shared desire. What is mine about? Better entrepreneur experience. My entrepreneur experience, your entrepreneur experience, not you taking my version of the entrepreneur experience and making that yours. That is the marketing information and opinion economy. Believe me. That is the talking head economy. I remember when it started in the 80s. All of a sudden, they all show up on the news programs. And the journalists were like, oh, we're in the spin room now. They even labeled it. They're like, they're lying. Why'd they let them on the air is what I wonder. Why cover that? Why not just say, it's bullshit. We're going to keep working on the truth and the story. We're journalists. Why'd they let that on the air? Money. That's why. Because it worked. Corporate interests took over the media industry, and they made a lot of money turning it into an entertainment or opinion debate. Still running that playbook. It's just a lot of people are opting out of it, but they don't know where else to go. Where do you go? Start with product if you're an entrepreneur. If you build it, they will come. You got to be visible. You can't run around like I did saying everything we were taught is wrong. No. How do you connect with people around a shared desire? That works. That works. You don't have to do it that way. You come in my group, you don't have to do the red pill pathway. You could be in the entrepreneur experience. If your entrepreneur experience is figuring out how to make Russell Brunson's and Alex Hormozi's and your school group work better, let's talk about that. Share how. There's other people who are doing that too. I'm not. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means it exhausted me. It's not for me. Those great at marketing, spin, and information confuse millions. I'm not going to New York City to sit in Tony Robbins' audience and do a cellular transformation in 4 days because his big energy comes out into the crowd and lifts me up. And then I feel great for a day. Now, others can't get off the couch, so they need it, I guess. It feels like a new version of the same old thing. The Who song. The new boss is the same as the old boss. Why have a boss? I don't want a boss. I'm an entrepreneur. I don't want to take money from anybody because then I have a boss. Learn how belief formed from opinion corrupts young people, leads to social chaos and needless debate as society spins at its confusion. When you have two opinions fighting against each other, that's confusing because none of it's true. There's an angle. What is behind the opinion? Disinformation, a government is trying to get people to think a certain way. An economic interest, a network, a media company, an ad network, Google, Facebook, TikTok, any of these things. How do we boost engagement? How do we get that mind to spin? Marketers call these eyeballs. I work for a company called Marketing IQ, a database marketing company. 6 months. I'm amazed I lasted that long with these guys. And we did an exercise with a branding expert with Brown persona development because I'm like, I don't know what you guys are doing. I can't figure it out. Every time I talk to you, you do something different. How am I going to go sell this stuff? I did it anyways. I went out and networked like a maniac and tried a lot of things. And they got to the truth in the branding exercise. And the answer was, what do you do? And the answer was, we manipulate people. The guy who owned the company said, we manipulate people. And I'm like, yeah, I got to sell that. How do you manipulate people? So if I'm a brand, they did a lot with private sector education, it's called. How do you manipulate people? How do you get people to buy these really expensive educational programs? These for-profit, now they call it private sector because you don't want to say for-profit in the education industry. I went after the nonprofit section of that industry too. The lead generators buy this stuff. How do you get people to do what you want? That's marketing. How do you manipulate people? Is there anything wrong with it? Well, Belief formed from opinion corrupts young people, leads to social chaos and needless debate as society spins in its confusion. If I become famous on Instagram and I can quit my corporate job because I bought a course on YouTube, is that okay? In the California gold rush, let's go back to the, 18 something? Who made all the money? Levi's sold gold mining pants. Rockefeller fueled the transportation west. Carnegie, I think, built the railroads. Eventually, they gave back to the society. And Sucker's Gulch in California was still bringing in people. That's why they called it Sucker's Gulch when there was no gold left in there. And I think, at least for me, that's where we are right now with the influencer opinion, belief, and conviction marketing economy. All right, I'm going to take 10 minutes and talk a little bit more about what I'm talking about here, because I know this is a lot for a lot of people, but when I talk to people now, they're like, oh yeah, yes, I agree. I was talking to a guy, very good sales person, very good at sales, very good. Spent his whole lifetime selling, and he spent the last 2 years in what I call how to create your elevator message networking events, and on Zoom, like, and he stopped 3 months ago, and he's like, what am I doing? I already know how to do this. Why am I in rooms learning how to sell with people who are talking about how to get clients all the time? I started that back in the 90s, 2000s, being in rooms of people who were trying to figure out, how do I get clients? How do I get clients? How do I get clients? And what I found was that it worked for me. And I see it happening again online on Zoom, and it's everywhere. We ran a group yesterday, Entrex Forum, on coaching industry, and everybody went right to how do we get clients as coaches? And I'm like, why are we having this conversation? This isn't the conversation I wanted to have, but it's the conversation a lot of people in the room wanted to have. And I thought, this is a fear-based conversation at heart, for me at least, because I don't want to talk about how to get clients. I want to talk about how do I connect with people, resonate, and create a shared desire, and what are the different models to become an authority in a market. What is the difference between market and marketing? It's totally different. It's almost the opposite. It's very complicated to explain this simplicity, common sense stuff, because these belief systems around marketing, information, and opinion are so pervasive in our society right now, and it seems normal to people. And I'm looking at Instagram, and I'm looking at YouTube, and I'm looking at Facebook, and I'm like, oh my God, you're all saying the same thing, but a different version of it. And I'm like, I don't want to say everything we were taught is wrong anymore, because then people just think I'm an asshole. But what I care about are entrepreneurs and coaches who are doing something important, and consultants who are good at what they do. I've always cared about this, always, since I was a kid. How do we make money outside the matrix? How do we not depend on a corporate income? How do we not have to get a paycheck? How do we not, as entrepreneurs, have to take money from private equity assholes or VC assholes who know nothing or care? They don't care at all about what we're doing. They don't care. They may say they care, but they don't. They want to extract money from our talent. It's like how Hollywood works. And I'm like, I don't want this. What's the other way? What's the other way? I'm like, yeah, there is another way. There is another way. And the question of what is the other way comes from principles. It comes from what always works. In other words, what's my product? What do I have? Why does it matter? If my product is only based on fear and I fill up my room, now I'm just talking about the coaching kind of influencer economy playbook. Now there's other people where it's B2B, or you have accounting services, or you have a software company, same thing. So people get stuck in the form of it. The principles are the same. It doesn't matter what it is. It's the same stuff. So underneath it, it's like, well, I fill up the room. It's the same with software. If I persuade people into my system, they'll do what's called attrite. So this is a database marketing term of attrition. Well, how do you lower your attrition? You model the data. So you segment out those likely to leave. You don't have to do that if you create something from product. Who am I? What do I want? Why am I here? Why am I doing this? I'm not talking about purpose as a marketing tactic to create an authority, authentic character in the market using purpose. That's the game on YouTube. The marketing agencies are all doing that. No, I'm talking about meaning it, making it real. How do you create real as a marketer? You can't. I don't care how you weave it together. Marketing is to promote and to sell. There's nothing wrong with it. Our entire economy is based on it, but there's an impact. Nobody believes anything anymore. I remember when people believed the journalists because they were right. They got on site and they looked around and they said, here's what's going on. Now, the opinions were all over the place because people saw it and they interpreted it through the lens of their own life, but no one was arguing over data or facts. It was like, yeah, that country bombed that country for this reason. Everybody's like, yeah, that makes sense. It's called common sense. Where to go? What's your Rocky Road ice cream? Do you care about it? If you don't, just market the hell out of what you got. Put the lipstick on the pig. Maybe you got a pretty good pig. And you don't want to do what I'm doing. You don't want to go deep in like, who am I? What is it? Why does it matter? And then how do I connect with people around that as opposed to market to them? How do I build a permanent solution to the vagaries of change in this economy? I have been reinventing myself every 7 years since I was a kid. Every 7 years. Now it's every year. And I'm like, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm done. What's the solution? Prosperity strategy. It's inside. I'm not talking about chasing money. Russell's got a whole thing with Napoleon Hill now. And I started going through the course just to see what's he doing. And I thought, damn, I did that for like 3 years and it didn't work. But it did because it's a prosperity strategy. But when you're trying to force money into the bank account and trick your subconscious mind to remove your beliefs so you can get more money, what are you doing? Why? What's the point of having the money? So you get security in a crazy economy with technology disrupting everything every 5 minutes? That's a fear-based lifestyle. We had a woman kick off the Entrex Forum yesterday who said a lot of her clients, she's got 235 people in her paid community. It's all female. And she said they leave corporate and they want to manifest their company. 3 months later, nothing's happening. And they're looking at the vision board. She's a hardcore lead generator. She's teaching them, you got to take action. Oprah manifest. Yeah, you man. It's prosperity. What do I want? What am I thinking about? That's going to come true, but you got to take action. And that action is going to be hard. You got to face your fears head on. Manifesting is facing your fears head on, in my experience. I'm not saying you can just go on and The dog shows up like in Neville Goddard's book, like the little kid example in Neville Goddard's book. Yeah, some people can do that. I can't. That's hard. I tried. I couldn't do it. So that's the point. What's your product? Who are you? How do you connect? How do you get resonance? How do you create a shared desire with people? Ask, in other words, what are they thinking? Not just you imposing your vision on them. Everything we were taught is wrong. Follow me, follow me. They're like, no, 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 that's okay, Larry. Not signing up for your thing. Don't know what it is. You're confusing me. Like, oh, I got to work on that. Took a year. And then schmooze. What does that mean? Get you to like me? No, it means what's our shared desire together? Next, what do we do together? And to me, that is the entrepreneur experience platform that I've built for me to selfishly serve the world. So I don't have